How's it going? It's me, Halfd0rk. Well, you probably knew that already. Anyway, today we're going to be working more on our card game here exclusively on the Sandstorm stream. So thank you, Sandstorm, for this opportunity. I reviewed a little bit of what to do this morning. And so we're going to be looking at RNG, specifically watching an object with gravity fall, and we're going to tell it when to stop. And so what I've done, and you'll get to see it through this episode, is I've set up 20 objects that are non-collidable. The ball falls. I can even show you just a quick example as I'm kind of describing it. We're going to have a ball that falls down this long kind of tower, and we tell it when to stop. And depending on when it stops is the relative number that you can see here. And if it reaches the bottom, it just spawns right back up at the top. So that's what we're working on today. But we do have some news to go through. So news being the Sandstorm Box Edit contest. So number 18 is coming to a close. So Friday, November 11th, it ends this week. So you do still have time to make a scary monster made of your favorite food. Oh, rawr. Yo, what's up? And Slater Raid dropping in the link below. It'll be in the chat. So if you'd like to learn more for yourself, this is the Food Monsters themed Sandstorm Box Edit contest, the 18th of which. So it makes a funny, scary, horrifying, delicious monster that is based off of your favorite food. You know, it could be any food. Maybe it's broccoli, so a broccoli monster. That'll scare some kids. Or Brussels sprouts, spinach. And so the deadline is November 11th. Converting that to Eastern Standard Time, we're looking at about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard on November 11th. The prize pool being 5,000 sand. Make sure you check it out. The first place, I believe, is 2,500. So far, it looks like maybe 4 people have submitted. But again, you have till November 11th. Second word of business, or I should say prizes, is if you are willing to look into the Decentraland contest. So number 6, this is themed The Rescue. So again, another huge prize pool here, 5,000 USD. After throwing the best party the island has ever seen, you have attracted the attention of people off in the distance that are now headed towards you. But you can't tell what it is yet. A plane, a boat, a UFO, whatever it is, your only hope. It's time to escape the island. So check out that link if you're interested in learning how to make something in Blender. I know our resident Decentraland DCL Curations is the guy to ask. He's on the Discord, so he's also got a huge kind of backlog of content that is streamed here live. And so if you're interested, you're making a 1x1 parcel scene. So unsure what that means, but it's just a limited amount of space. Looks like 15 megabytes max. So these are, polygon assets, much like Vox Edit. And you could probably make your, submission in Vox Edit. That'll throw them off. But yeah, just game ready pretty much. But deadline is going to be November 18th. So you do have some time to pick up a new skill, learn how to make something in Decentraland if you're curious. But yeah, great prizes all around. Making a rescue vehicle. And it could be anything, a boat, plane, UFO, it's a vehicle. So yeah, sounds great. Good luck. Honestly, that sounds fun. I might participate. And yeah, as Slater Raid says, you'll have to start learning at some point. And so Blender is a great tool. I've actually started using Blender today even. Oh wow, I have it open right now. I guess I can show you what I'm making. Spoilers, I suppose. I'm not really making anything. I essentially purchased assets that are game objects. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can buy assets like on Unity, Unreal, Blender's, own personal marketplace, whatever, and you can put these into your game. They're purchased, licensed, so that you can use them in your game. I'm currently just adding and sorting through the collection of assets I've already purchased to use for a secret project. But that secret project, some of you might know about, but I'll say no more. But today, we're hopping into the Sandbox. Sandbox! And I'm going to be working on my RNG elevator. I think that's what I'm going to nickname this, the RNG elevator. And so we can watch it in action here. I got to change the camera. And so what will happen is a ball will start falling. I get a little disorienting, but we'll see. A ball will start falling, and then it stops. This first time around, it's just going to stop where it is. And then we are able to watch it destroy whatever it was currently landing on. So now the process will continue until a specific set of messages goes through to where I can stop it once again. And so because we've only set up, let's say like 5 to 20-ish, we're looking to make all 20 of them, but I don't see my ball. So now I'm concerned. Where'd my ball go? I think if I hit end turn, it'll reappear. There it goes. So this time it was stopped by number 2. And so next time it should delete number 2, essentially drawing the second card in our deck here. However, we can see it looks like it killed 3 as well. So I'm going to be taking a closer look at this mechanic. It's very hard to follow, I'm not going to lie, but it's an experiment. And I just want to open the floor to anyone out there that has questions, especially when it comes to gamemaker. Please, please, please do ask them. Sandstorm streams are a great way to ask for help. And I am more than willing, more than able to assist you in learning how to use the gamemaker. Oh, making a donut today. Good luck, Slaterade. Welcome in, Sensia, Lordkin Wolf, Vivox, and everybody else. Thanks for joining us today. Slaterade, I suppose I'll visit the Central Land once in a while. All right, so first things first, I want to change my camera. And then I need to bring this back. I have asset spawners that kind of like tell my character where to spawn. Excuse me. I suppose I could turn them off for the moment. So that way we can focus on making these mechanics. We start the game. When we end the turn, you can see the ball begins to drop. The ball's then stopped. And then we're starting our turn. So there should be a start turn message here. I believe we set up earlier to be spawning via checkpoint. So I'm going to have this one enabled just so we can test it. We start the game. When the game starts, we play whatever cards we were given. Once we've finished, that first hand, so the first hand is probably the most important one. It kind of kick-starts my entire mechanic. So then we end our turn. When we end our turn, it's supposed to be spawning us right here. Great. And then we're supposed to get a start turn message right here. That kind of queues up the next card. Okay. So with my checkpoint, it's detecting me and it's sending out start turn. I need to make sure it's sending it out, so I'm going to add the debug text here. So basically it's going to display, hey, start turn has initiated. So I just need to make sure it's sending that out. Delete it. So running through the motions again, we've started the game. Play a card. When we play a card, we're watching our enemy, and then now we're getting the start turn message. That's supposed to turn on several of these mechanics. And then behind the scenes, we're kind of watching the enemy play. Now the ball is supposed to be falling normally, which it is. So now that the ball is falling normally, I want it to kind of be caught by one of these carpets that I set up. What happens is our health here is actually spawning too quickly. I need to give it enough time to potentially be caught by our ball. I could also give it gravity, but I don't think that's a good idea. Hey, Roxy, buenos dias. So this is our freezing. So this basically freezes the mechanic. I want this to happen behind the scenes. So it's on start.turn, it's respawning. So that means the ball had to have been caught by the time start turn occurs. So all of these likely need to be either open or closed. When we start game, it's supposed to start the ball, right? So start game goes out. That's going to start this process. We're watching the ball fall. Right now, all of these doors seem to be closed. I thought I turned them on open. So we had the start turn message, I believe. And so that's kind of throwing a loop. So I'm going to close all of these doors. And we're going to see if that affects my mechanic here. So again, these are essentially using the door mechanic, the door behavior specifically, to allow the ball to fall through them. So if you guys didn't know, door behaviors, when they are quote unquote open, so starting state open, that means the collisions are removed. So that's a kind of like a default state for doors, is whenever they are open, no matter how big they are, they become non-collidable. And that's something you have to just keep in mind. So I'm going to put this door down on the ground just to show you. If you were to walk up to this door, you're bumping into it. But if I open the door, I now pass through it. So this is a behavior of the door mechanic itself. And it can be used for a variety of mechanics, depending on what your game needs. You could probably find some really cool uses for it. For me, I'm trying to make some RNG out of it. But yeah, just keep in mind, if a door is open, the entire door itself is thus you can travel through it. What's the good word for that? Like ethereal? And so all of my doors here, they were open, but now I'm starting them on closed. And so we're going to see how that interacts with my game. Now we can see it falls to the very bottom. And when it hits the bottom, it's being destroyed. However, once I close this mechanic, so essentially tell it to stop, the ball should have stopped. So the ball is currently on level 5 right now. We can see on level 5, my red health bar has spawned there. And that has caused my level 5 to be destroyed. And because I've stopped the mechanic again, the ball, which has gravity, kept falling, and it landed on 6 this time. And because I drew from level 5, I got this card. All right, well, I guess I'll just hack real quick. Hacker man! Slider's back, baby. Cool. So that is the mechanic that we're setting up with our RNG. And so I'm going to essentially be going through the process of duplicating this 20 times. What What I would like to do is have an asset associated with each that I can spawn and start. And if we have time, I'll probably start spawning them into my hand. So if I'm spawning them into my hand, this is going to be another mechanic that's going to require a lot of thought. But let's just say I have 3 cards in my hand. I'll just use this one for reference. But 3 cards. If I use the far right card, I would want both of my other cards to slide over. And that is going to be a lot more difficult than I believe. I can already envision some workarounds. Like, for example, it's going to detect whatever card is in the left hand here and then spawn it, an identical version of it, in the middle or the right, which is probably what will happen. But I also kind of want to have the impression of it sliding over. But I think that might be too difficult to make. Still cool, though. All right, so let's get to work on our RNG elevator. Now that we know it's working. Essentially, I'm using the blocks here as the representations for which card is spawning. So we have number 7, number 8, number 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. So each one of them has pretty simple mechanics. They all open and become passable, or trespassable, would that be the word? And so when they're open, you can pass through. Otherwise, if they are closed and our ball stops on top of it, the mechanic where it's going to be destroyed occurs. So it's basically going to send out a message relative to whatever card it is. So card select got 7 for this one. And then this is kill.carpet.7. One thing I like to do, and this is a little bit of a detour, but helpful nonetheless, is I'm going to make some messages in bulk. So we're going to do our kill.carpet.8. Kill.carpet.9. And so when you have a mechanic like this RNG, you don't want to be just typing every time you're making progress, Kill.carpet.10. So my main goal for today's stream is to get this RNG elevator working. So I want to have literally 20 options spawn in front of us. That's the idea. That's what I want to happen. And every time we get one, it prevents us from getting any others. But our kill carpet messages, these are essential for getting that mechanic working. So I'm doing them all in bulk because we need 20 of them. And it's going to be crazy to try and replicate all this. But if I make something cool, I imagine there's going to be some hard game NFTs that will want to know and watch every single Sandstorm stream. Be like, how do we make this? How can we replicate the Halfd0rkiness? Then they'll be sending me blank checks. And they'll be like, how do you do it? Tell us. Just sign your name on the blank check. Hey, Vivi Cryptos, what's up, dude? You're not late, but if you're new, welcome in. What's the name of the program that you're using? This is called the Gamemaker. So a little bit, they could have branded it a little better. I'll just tell you that much. But it's called the Sandbox Game Official Game Maker. So it's literally just called Game Maker. So if you're interested in poking around the Sandbox Game Maker, here's the link. I'll drop it in chat for you. If I can. Sandbox Game Maker. I'm going to have this link like on lock. But if you poke around, you can make some of the various games, or start small with like a quest, or perhaps like making an enemy that you can fight. All of those things that you encountered in the alpha, like you can easily recreate. And while you're here, if you have questions, feel free to ask. Sandstorm, we're here to help. So also, I'm Halfd0rk. I'm here to help. Carpet.20. Right now I'm making bulk messages. So these are card detecting messages. So we want card select dot 7. All right, we have 7. We need 8. Again, I'm just making all of these messages so I can just pick from them as we're making this mechanic. Card.select.10. We always want to make sure they're consistent. So for example, instead of spaces, I'm using periods. So by using periods for everything, I personally prefer it. So I can, instead of using the space bar, like I'm using the period bar, and that allows me to not second guess my own work. Like I'll always see that small period, and I won't be like, is that a space between the 1 and the L? But to each their own. Like if you are able to, put in the space bar, it still will work. It will still work. You just need to make sure it's consistent. So like whatever message you tell it to do, that's important. Yeah, Slaterade and Sandstorm was like, hey, no more of that basic beginner sandbox stuff. We need you doing crazy stuff that we can show to people. And they'll be like, whoa, that's crazy. And then they'll be like, yeah, that's Halfd0rk. So I'm trying to make some cool RNG stuff happen. There's a lot of trial and error. I can tell you that much. You gotta show me off. Thank you, Slaterade. I'm the trophy wife. But regardless, this is the type of stuff I enjoy. And so when Sandstorm was like, hey, just come do it. We'll pay you. Have a great stream. Encourage people to build. Tell them about the stuff we're building. And you're golden. I was like, yeah, where do I sign? All right, so now that we have all our messages, I can easily go back to my tower here and just plug and play. And what we're doing is we're going to create a visual way to show this entire mechanic. So I would like for there to be a way for me to just turn off the rest of my card game, but we'll just see if it works, once we have all the doors ready to go. Hey, Tum4Y1, what's happening? Welcome in. Phil.carpet.8. So Slaterade, by the way, I saw Sandbox changed their official schedule again. I believe they changed it recently. I figured you'd want to know. Now they're doing 11 a.m. to 12-ish Eastern Standard Time. I'm doing very well, Tom. Thank you for asking. I'm currently working on this tower here that is going to be RNG. So if nobody knows what RNG means, that means random number generator. So essentially, I'm using gravity for a ball to fall, and then I'm telling it when to stop. And no matter where it is, that's going to be what is selected. So that's the RNG that I've created. There are multiple ways of making RNG. This is one that I've been testing, and I've had some good success with it. It's consistent, and it hasn't broken like that often. Everything still breaks, though. But we're at 1:30 right now. So welcome again, Tom, and new friends out there. I should mention the contest going on right now. I usually mention it at the start of every stream, but I think it's important to also, throw out the heads up for these contests midway and probably near the end too. But keep in mind, there's a contest going on with VoxEdit. So if you guys want to start creating in the sandbox, VoxEdit is the software where you can make these, cubed assets. And so the current theme is food monsters. And so the food monsters is making scary monsters made of your favorite food. And so you guys have until November 11th. So a couple days remaining, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With 2,500 being the first place win, 5,000 USD total. So that's, not sand, which sand is, around 80 cents right now. But yeah, this is a worthwhile contest for anyone in the ecosystem. And then we have the Sandstorm DCL Decentraland contest. So if you guys are interested in making, 3D low poly assets for a different metaverse, this is another contest put on by the Sandstorm. So check it out if you're interested. This is the rescue. So you're making a rescue vehicle that would escape an island, such as a plane, a boat, UFO, whatever it is. It's your only hope. That's enough. And so back to my door mechanics here. So we're killing number 10. A little bit laggy sometimes. Just a wee bit. Select dot 10. So mechanics like these are not necessary for your game. I tend to explore a lot of mechanics, especially on my own streams and on the Sandstorm streams. So if these are the types of mechanics you're interested in, they're very intermediate, kind of like advanced. So everything I'm doing right now is basically setting up for a much grander kind of mechanic. So it's hard to follow, and I apologize for that. But for those of you with questions, like how to get started or, how to make a quest, feel free to ask, especially right now during the live streams. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to the Discord and you can catch us there. But all questions are good questions, so keep them coming. Ooh, for a sand casino game, I could see it, Roxy. Roxy, what are you pivoting towards? Like, what are you building right now? Is it the outer studio stuff? This is number 12. I remember someone was going to do a casino in the sandbox, but don't know what happened. There was like a social hub casino. I believe that was Lady Pixie's. However, it wasn't a casino. And I imagine that might get them in trouble too. Like trying to make a casino in the metaverse. Like, can the sandbox support that? Be my question. Like, because they become the place for gambling, You moderate that. So I'm typing in, this is kind of like a shortcut, I guess you could say, is if you have multiple messages, we can see here I have ct.13 at the end. So I can do ct.14, and that'll bring up the only message associated with that small series of letters and numbers. One thing to keep in mind is sometimes it doesn't save messages, so I'll usually go back and check, make sure. We'll probably stack all these if we can. They're all currently in line, so they should orient themselves. It's fine. It's fine. Now we're on 15. So I'm doing ET.15. And down here, we're doing CT.15. So there's ET.16 and CT.16. Pickaxe Master, you had banned us. Oh, the Atlas Star. Forgot that was going on, to be honest. Oh, Roxy, best of luck with this Outer Studio stuff. Here's .17. It's getting really laggy now. So I have a lot of messages that have been saved across every one of my games. And right now, I feel like it's getting complicated for my game maker to keep up. It's literally pulling from every single message I've ever written, in all of my games. So it's a little bit taxing for the system. But that's why I'm trying to do consistent, messages. It does also appear as though they stopped saving. So if they ever stop saving, you have to type in the full name, then click the yellow version. So this one, yeah, did not save the previous. And so this is why it's important to catch them now, rather than when they break, and then you have to dig through all of your logic and be like, where did it break? So luckily I was able to spot it. So kill.carpet.17. Again, using the yellow text. And we're doing card.select.17. All right, last two. And then we can take our next steps. This will be kill.carpets.19. Didn't realize you would with them. Yeah, they're a partner. That's true. With Sandstorm. Card.select. 19. And last one. Will be kill. There's a reason why I'm using these carpets, by the way. It's because they are a flat plane, so there's no extra voxels hanging off of them, none, above or below it, as it's a flat surface. So it's just a plane. It's just a one voxel thin asset. So that's actually greatly optimized for the sandbox. You don't have to calculate extra faces. It's as large as it is, it can also be useful to have a large, thin, very few voxel asset. So very helpful to have these carpets. Select, got 20. Great. So now I'm going to save it before I bite the bullet. And we'll just watch this in action. A couple things won't happen. If I hit anything above 6, it won't be destroyed. But we'll be able to see the ball fall. Now the ball should be falling. See, it's stuck on number 9. This one here. Right now they should all be closed, but they all should be opening at the same time. So the ball was falling and then it was caught. So taking a quick look. So start turn is supposed to open it. End turn closes it. Right now the ball should be up at the very, very top. If we start the game, now the ball should be continually falling. Okay, so if we end our turn, it's going to stop. And we can see here, our ball was detected by 2 different assets, so that's not good. We don't want that. Well, how can I fix it? Well, I can have the ball have a larger, detection by making our detector's radius smaller. So it's like the ball has to be more or less like on top of the orientated point, like the middle point of our carpets, which is probably what I'll try first if that doesn't work. See? Well, all of my doors here, they have a speaker component. That speaker component, we'll be able to see, is that blue circle there. I'm going to set them all to 0.5. So rather than detecting in a 1 block radius, I'm going to change it to 0.5, and so the ball has to land basically in the middle right there. And we'll go ahead and try to multi-select here and see if I can do multiple at a time. So I just changed it to 0.5. We can see it changed that one. Hard to see because these carpets. It didn't change this one. It does appear that I have to go 1 by 1 and change it, but at least this isn't something that'll take too long. One thing to keep in mind is that decimal numbers do work in the sandbox. So you can see I'm typing in 0.1, but it goes up to 1. However, it's still registering it at 0.5. So if I were to type in a literal 1, we can see the radius gets bigger. So it still works. It's just it's rounding up those decimals, or rounding usually up. I don't think it'll round down actually. So if we were at like 1.1, oh, I guess it does round down. 1.5 goes to 2, 1.4 goes to 1. So it just doesn't have any of the decimals, that's all. 0.5 for all of these. We'll leave that one 0.5. 5, I'm actually just going to copy paste it now. 5. Roxy asks, is there any way to use detection in 2 dimensions? Like just a line instead of being a sphere that does detection. I like where your head's at, Roxy. In 2 dimensions, like a line. I've used platforms before. And so you can trigger, that detection using a message. And so let's, I'll give you a literal example, but I'll just talk it out loud. You trigger an asset that is going between point A and point B. That asset is on its own platform. And then you have a second message that is waiting to stop the platform. And whatever it's closest to, that's the message that goes out. But I like where your head's at, Roxy. We can try and explore that thought. 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5. Cool. Saving. Detection in 2 dimensions, like just a line. I mean, the sphere itself is helpful. I think the way you're describing it, Roxy, you're not making the most of the 3D space, but you're essentially trying to dumb down 3D space, which would be great if we could do that. I think that would be very helpful, as if we could just, skip from 2D back to 3D. Here's how I would go about that problem. I would go from point A to point B, and this platform here, you start and stop it, and depending on where it is, that's detecting it. So as the example, that blue radius, and yes, unfortunately, it is a circle. So a lot of mechanics I've used this for, it's very basic. You're basically option A, option B, and then your platform is choosing between the two. But the way you've described it, Roxy, yes and no. I think my answer for that would be is you are essentially recreating 2D space. So you're limiting your options. All right, let's visit our elevator again. Start the game. The ball should be falling. Ball is falling. Okay, great. Ball should now be falling eternally until we tell it to stop. So the ball's falling. I do my turn as normal. I play my card. So I end my turn. So when I end my turn, the ball continues to fall again. So now the new problem is all of my doors above level 6 currently aren't being killed. That's because we have to set up a new series of messages. So we can see here I caught it on number 8. And what's nice is it did detect it. So that's a good sign. Okay, so in order to continue, I'm going to be making more spawners. And each one of these spawners will essentially detect something. Yeah, I mean, this is going to get complicated, but I know how to continue. It's just a little bit, I guess, boring to watch. So if anybody has any other questions for us to work through. What I used was quite small detectors so that you can only detect on that line. About 10 to 15 detectors with little detection range. Very cool. So I see what you're saying, and I don't think you need to limit how much space you're using, but it is obviously good to have, minimalistic logic behind the scenes. But only detecting on that line, I think, is very cool. When you have 15 plus makes a lot. I could agree with that. Okay, so I'll continue then. So each one of these spawners is essentially reacting to the card that it was chosen. We're spawning the kill card. The kill carpet, yes. This will be number 7. It's me. So when it's detected, so it is spawning our heat spray 3. So all of these should be the same. Yeah. So I was doing them in 3s. I should probably try to order them a little bit better. hopefully I can at least get to number 10 here. That'll make it a lot easier to understand what's happening. I'm also going to change this so that they're spawning essentially on top of each other. On top of the detector it needs to spawn on. It looks like our detectors had a large range, so it didn't really matter. This is number 7. We're basically just sending out the kill. That carpet. 7. I did a couple of these backwards. This one should be spawning heat spray 1. Heat spray 1. Okay, great. So this is 6, 7, 8. So this is number 7. Nope, this is 5. 1, 2, 3. 3. This is 4. Why does it say 4? Looks like I did this one backwards, but whatever. Whatever. Should be good now. Behind the scenes, it definitely can get unorganized if you're not paying attention. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and move it up here and change it to number 9. And then it's being killed on number 9. So I'm only going to get to 10 here. That's good. So we can at least see this RNG in action. And then Friday, I'll be continuing this series. We had 4, 5, 6. This is number 7. No, this has number 3 on it. Why you do this? I meant to duplicate that one. I'll be continuing this series. We're going to be making more assets in Box Edit. So I'll be importing all of the progress that we've made so far. We've got 4, 5, 6. This is 7. Third, .select, .7. And it's sending out kill. .7. So Roxy says, do animated blocks such as lava or water consume resources as well as animated assets? You know, that's a good question. I will give you what I believe is the answer. I'm not saying it is the answer, but all it is a kind of looping texture on this lava and this water. It's literally that same 32 by 32 image that is just looping diagonally. And I don't think that takes up a lot of space now. Fredford HD show on Sandstorm. Come up with a mechanic he wants invented and contest and see what they can come up with. And I'll judge it. Hey, I like that idea, Fred. It's a great idea. It could even be like some simple stuff. But making a new mechanic might be difficult. Especially in the spans of a show. This is going to be number 2. This one's 9. So heat spray 2. Great. This is number 8. So card. .select. .8. And we've got kill. .carpet. .8. So this one is detecting the one that we're spawning. And when we detect it, it's sending out that kill carpet message. And same deal here. Kill Carpet.7. That's perfect. And then this one is looking for number 9. Kill.carpet.9. Duplicate it one more time, and we're going to make number 10. This one will be looking for heat spray 1. I'll be making more cards throughout the week, so hopefully in Box Edit this Friday, we'll have some really cool stuff to share with you. Some new cards, new things that those cards can do. Right now, every card does like 1 point of damage, and that's good because we have to test these things, and then we'll add more mechanics as we go. This one's card.select.10. So this one, we want to spawn heat spray 1. So I need to double check all those. But we've got kill.carpet.10. And so again, that's removing the ability to draw the same card that was associated with number 10. This one is looking for heat spray 3. This one is looking for heat spray 3. Great. This one's looking for heat spray 1. This is looking for heat spray 1. So we should be covered. It's later a live Vox Edit challenge. Could be cool to have everyone build along and give out something at the end. That'd be very awesome. Yeah, that might take some time. I agree, Slitterid. All right, let's test it. I want to try and get my RNG to land on the bottom half. I could probably just cheat that because we're running out of time here. I'm going to just drag and drop my spawner to where it's always spawning on my 10 or lower. So let's go ahead and start the game. You can see the ball is dropping. Should reset. Great. So now the ball, every time it dies, it's spawning a new one at the 10. And so when I finally, started whatever mechanic, so let's say it's the start of my turn, a message goes out that tells my ball to stop spawning, and it closes every single carpet. It's weird because they're using a door mechanic, but they're carpets. Anyway, it closes them all, so the ball rests. And so ironically, the ball is currently resting on 11. But we have multiple card turns, so it's not going to delete number 11, which is a little annoying. But we should start seeing the ball fall again after one of these messages. So there's the ball falling. Enemy ends their turn. Now the ball has stopped. The ball is now resting on number 10. Should be starting my turn now. Or ending it. And so that causes the next card to kind of queue up. So we can see it's on 0. Okay, this time it somehow detects... Oh, I know why. I think all of my carpets here are tagged incorrectly. So we can see I'm looking at 8 and it's on number 6. I think all of my carpets are incorrectly tagged at the moment. I also don't think that'll be a problem. More than likely due to one of these. So for example, all of my detectors are too close to each other. Should probably move them in the 3 batches that they were in. Now it should be a little bit more consistent. Of course, I'm fine-tuning it, so nothing is like set in stone either. It's just I'm trying to get that mechanic. We have the ball falling. We'll end our turn. The ball has stopped. And where it stopped was on level 2. Or level 1. So it stopped on level 1 that time. End our turn again. This time it was caught by number 7. End our turn again. I need to make sure the ball is still here. So for some reason, sometimes the ball is stopping. So these are the things I have to iron out. So we can see it got caught. That time it was detected. Cool. So everybody, we're coming to the end of the show. Is there anything else I can help you troubleshoot? We can explore other mechanics. There's a lot to do in this card game that I've started making. Unfortunately, way more than I ever anticipated. Way more. But we can take a quick look at the style that we're going for our cards. So the cards themselves are going to look similar to this. Definitely more, pretty. But we'll have an icon in the middle. We'll have a name at the top, how much it costs at the top right, and then what it does on the bottom. Fred, I did see it, and I'm scared because that means it's haunted. But also, Fred, it's just what everybody was mentioning this morning. Like, things are getting pushed by gravity objects, which doesn't help us. So, for the remainder, of our last couple minutes, I'm just going to be making these cards. You can see here, I have a pickable component that is on the top of the card. Now, if I were to remake this entire structure, so we can see here I've got like 4, 5 assets that are all parented to this white one so that I can grab it. So I'll show you. I can pick up this card, which it does its job. Like this works. There are other ways that I could approach it. So for example, I could pick it up and then maybe somewhere else on my screen it might appear. But I do like the idea of kind of like spinning the card. More problems arise, which you'll hear me say a lot with this project, of where if I drop it outside of like my grab zone. So let's just say I somehow drop it outside. Like, what happens then? Well, we're screwed, aren't we? Well, let's just say I drop it over here. I need to have a way to reset it. I need to have a way to reset it into my hand. Or what can happen is I can grab the card and that consumes it. And that says somewhere else on screen, like, this is the card you're using. So that way I'm not interacting with a pickable. So this is what's called a pickable object. So for example, instead of picking it up, instead it would just disappear once I touch it. And then it would probably appear somewhere else on the screen to be like, oh, this is the card you're using right now. And then if that's the case, I can decide to put it back down. I'll have a little bit more control over what the player can do so that they don't break it. Because that would be the big problem, is the player can easily break your game if you're using pickable assets too. Which, speaking of which, I'm pretty sure I can like grab this and then like jailbreak. So I might be able to like jump on it. Yeah, right now I can jump on it. So that might be a problem too. Like, I just break in the game that way. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here. Friday, I'll be continuing this series, and we are going to be heading into Vox Edit. It'll be a nice chill stream where we're making card game assets. And so last Friday, I did a little bit of iconography, and so we'll be picking it up and running with it. So right now, it looks like Panda is still streaming. So we're going to send a raid her way. So thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate you guys. Fred, Roxy, thanks for bringing in the questions. Anyone else out there lurking, feel free to ask questions, comments, whatever you're experimenting with. Would love to hear more about it. But I'm going to start up a raid, and we'll send it to the official Sandbox. See you later, Oak6. Thanks for hanging. Let's see, did I get the raid started? It doesn't seem to be queued up. Oh well, you guys know where to go. All right, have a great one. See you later.